we've got some people joining. Welcome everyone. Feel free to add some comments and let us know that you're here, and so we can say hi. We're just going to wait for a few minutes until we have everyone on the webinar with us so we can kind of get cracking into the content. So just a couple disclaimers. If you see either me or Camilla looking to the side, we're just looking to another screen so we can kind of keep track of your comments and your questions while we present as well. And there's also about a 30-second lag. So if we post something, it's not that we haven't seen it, it just takes a bit of time for us to get all your comments. Hi, Bramilda, good to have you with us.
Hello. Hi, Kai. Is it Joyce? Hi, Joyce. Oh, welcome, Joyce. I saw you had a lot of bookings last weekend. I hope it was the same this weekend. Morning. Morning, Garnitsa. People are coming.
Ah, great.
I think we'll wait until 5 past or so, and then we can
get
started, probably, just to give time for people to
get set up.
Morning, Himanji. We're getting a nice mix of massage therapists and beauty therapists. Hello, Linda. Hi, Matthew. Hi, Tracy. Oh, everyone's getting in. Hey, Paloma.
Hi, Paloma. I reckon we can probably get started now. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us on this early on a Monday, starting off the week right. So we are having this webinar as a way of kind of introducing this new feature to you guys and giving you guys a bit of a demo, and also touching on different ways you can optimize your profile and maximize your earning potential on Urban. Just to introduce ourselves first, because you guys probably know who we are, but maybe aren't able to put a face to a name. I'm Yasmin, and I am kind of the community person at Urban. So my main responsibility is to ensure that you guys get the resources and the tools you need to have a great experience on the platform.
And I'm Camilla. You probably met me at some point, whether it was at your onboarding or sometime in the office. But yeah, I basically try to help you unlock your full earning potential by working in a way that maximizes your chances of getting booked. So whether that's kind of times of day or, making sure that where people are, looking for bookings. I'm just trying to share as much of that information with you and make sure your profile is kind of the best that it can be.
Amazing. So get started with the presentation now.
Cool. Let me just share my screen. So everyone can see.
Should be a few more seconds, and then it will be up on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'll give it a second just to make sure everyone can see it.
Amazing. I think it's live.
Perfect.
Great. So our new feature is something called templates. Some of you might have already been on the beta testing of it, so you might have a bit of an idea of what this feature is all about. But it's essentially a feature that we've designed to give you guys more control over the times and places that you work. And that's what we're going to be doing in this presentation. So showing you how this feature works live on the app. So you'll see a bit of a demo, and then we'll go into how you can use this feature, give you guys different kind of real life examples. And then we'll also be touching on other apps features in the app that you might know about or you might not know about, and kind of go into how you guys can use those features to maximize your booking potential. And then we'll also be ending with a bit of a Q&A. So some of you will have already asked us some questions through the type form. And then you guys can also feel free to add your questions in the sort of comments bar on the YouTube channel. And we'll touch on those at the end of the presentation.
Cool. So yeah, as Yasmin mentioned, we'll kick off the presentation with a quick preview of the feature. So we've actually got a little bit of a video. It is quite simple, but at least it will show you how it works and where to find it in the app. So I'm just gonna play this for you guys and kind of voice over so you know what's going on. So you're probably familiar with that screen. That was the profile section. Oops, a bit fast. So yeah, you basically come onto your profile screen. You'd see that there is the new section you can go to make your template, give it a name, and then you'll basically have the option to select service areas, and you can do as many as you can at once, and then you'll basically save that. And super simple, that will then come up when you try to put your availability into the diary. So here in the diary, popping in the hours, and then you can see it says template default, but you can change that to the one you just made. So this one's called test. And yeah, that's basically how it works. So let me get back to that presentation here. So yeah, there's a little bit of a GIF here as well, so you can see. It'll be pretty clear once you've downloaded or updated your app. There'll be a new section. You click through there. You would then choose your service areas, name it whatever you're going to name it, and then you'll then be able to apply that template to the slots you're adding into your diary. So it's related to the slots you add as opposed to like your whole day. So in one day, you could have one template added for the morning, one template added for the evening, or multiple templates through the day. So that will basically allow you to choose different service areas for the different times that you're working. There are, I guess, a few different ways that you could really benefit from this, other than the obvious, you have more control over when and where you want to work. But yeah, there's a lot of, even though it's quite a simple feature, it's packed with a lot of good uses that will help you balance taking bookings around your day-to-day life. And yeah, we've got a few examples that will probably be, that will resonate with a few of you, because they obviously have come up when we've been speaking to you guys through the forum or on the phone over the last couple of years. So I guess the first one is parking. Obviously, we know parking and driving in London is, not very easy. And, there are some places that are notorious for being, really difficult to park in. So yeah, an example would be, if you're a driver working in West London and you really want to offer services to people in Kensington, but you haven't been offering this service area recently because the controlled parking restrictions makes your life really difficult, and it's too expensive basically to warrant going out there. So with the templates feature, you could create a template with, say, your usual West London areas, but not including Kensington or maybe Chelsea. You can name this something like during restricted hours. And then you can apply this template during the times that there are parking restrictions. So for example, from 7 a.m. till 6:30 through the week, and then 7 till 1:30 on Saturday. And then you can have another template with your usual areas plus Kensington, Chelsea, and whatever other areas you want to have. And then you can name this one like after hours. And then you can put this on, say after 6:30 during the week or all day Sunday, so that you can basically still work in the areas you want to work in. You get to avoid the hassle of trying to find parking and pay for expensive parking. And then you can also work in our super high demand areas during peak times, which is when there aren't the parking restrictions. So, at the end of the day, you get to maximize your bookings and again, maximize your earnings. So there's that sort of parking benefit there. We've also got another one, which is more applicable regardless of if you're taking public transport or if you're driving. But you can basically work nearer to your other commitments. So, this is actually a real life example from someone who was in our beta testing group recently. So, so she seemed to have a job working during the week in East London, and then during the weekend, she was obviously based at home, which was sort of further up north, northeast. So, during the week, she was previously just doing, 1 or 2 bookings during the week, and obviously just taking them nearer to her workplace. But since she got the templates, she basically made like an East template, but it could also be called work, it could be called school. And then she then had like a home or another template for nearer to her house, which she used over the weekend. So the benefit of this, obviously, is that depending on where you are, you can set those templates, say, in the evening after work, if you want to squeeze in a few more bookings just after you finish up at school or you finish up at work. But then during the weekend, you can then open yourself up and take some bookings. You obviously earn more during the weekends. There's obviously high demand over the weekends, and you can squeeze in more bookings then without having to travel as far out, say, to where you usually work, and just stay local around where you live. So yeah, this is a real life example that we saw with somebody in our group. They actually started to take 3 to 4 bookings over the weekend each week instead of only taking 1 to 2 evening bookings during the week. So again, by taking more bookings and more bookings that are actually worth more, she's managed to increase her earnings just from having the templates feature and sort of making use of it in this way.
Awesome. Another key reason why this templates feature is really great for you guys is to avoid busy roads and stations. We know this is especially the case in London, where, for example, in southwest London, there are a lot of notorious bridge closures, and in certain areas around kind of stadiums like Highbury and Islington, it can be impossible to get anywhere when there's a football match going on. Or if there's any kind of main stations you want to avoid in central London during rush hour, you're able to use templates to kind of work there during the quieter times and ensure that you're not stuck in traffic for a couple of hours, or not managing to get on a tube when it's kind of packed during the kind of height of rush hour during the day. Another kind of great reason is not avoiding working at night. So if you want to reduce your kind of areas during the evenings to avoid being further away from home. So we know how important it is to feel safe, and we want you guys to feel kind of in control and be able to pick where you work, especially later on in the day where things can kind of get a bit more tricky to be further away from where you live, especially if you have to get public transport. So you can kind of create a template where you've got areas that are closer to your house and even within walking distance, and ensure that you get your bookings in those areas and squeeze in a couple more bookings per day or on the weekends, and then expand your service areas throughout the kind of earlier hours of the day. Another really big one, this is more for London again, is working around congestion charge zones. So the congestion charge zones are central to north, central to south, and central to city. And with templates, you're able to kind of select the areas close to the congestion charge zone and avoid those areas during the hours of congestion charge. And we know at the moment that the congestion charge time period has been extended to kind of cover most of the day and most of the week. And this is supposed to be an emergency measure, so we're hoping that this is going to be lifted. And what that means is that you're able to create an evening and weekend template which can include these zones, because they are central and there are a lot of bookings that come through in these areas. So you might not want to completely disregard them and take them off your map, but you might want to keep them on during the times where you can avoid these charges. And that's kind of a really key one that we've had come up quite a lot in the forum and in feedback, is that people want to avoid these zones because obviously it's quite a hefty charge to drive through these congestion charge zones.
Yeah, exactly. And like the similar principle could be just in terms of working at off-peak or peak hours. Maybe you want to work at a larger service area, for example, like you want to work, you're willing to travel a bit further because during the day it's a bit quiet. And then once it becomes peak hours, you want to be in those main, I don't know, zone 1 and 2 areas. Then you can always do that and keep your sort of travel time to like a minimum, while also staying in the sort of in demand times and areas at the same time. So yeah, those are just a few examples. Obviously, there are a lot of other ways that you can use the templates feature. But yeah, those are probably the ones that came up the most while we were speaking to therapists, and also while we looked at some of the people, like some of the templates that they made while testing the feature. So yeah, the other things that obviously we saw, it's a completely new feature to have, and yeah, it's very simple, but it's easy to overcomplicate it. So we do have a couple tips just for when you get started, just to make sure that you're able to benefit from the feature and don't accidentally get confused or, end up, I don't know, making your life accidentally harder, basically, when it's supposed to make your life easier. So yeah, the first one obviously is just start off slow. With each template, it's one group of service areas. It's probably better to make, one or two templates to start with like very distinct differences. So you know that this is home, for example, and this one is school, for example, or you have one that's like evening, and then this one is daytime, or, congestion charge, non-congestion charge. So, if you have too many templates that are maybe like one or two service areas different or aren't named very clearly, then you'll probably end up just getting really confused when you're trying to choose the template you want for the times that you're setting them for. So then that kind of defeats the purpose. So start off slow, start off with very simple names and sort of clearly named service templates as well. And just make sure that those names help you understand which service areas are within those templates. So you don't have to kind of keep going back to the map and checking what's on there. The other thing is remembering to save. So saving is definitely key. When you go through and sort of create your template, you do need to click save as opposed to just, oh, okay, I've chosen these areas, I'm just going to go back. We've all probably experienced the issue where you thought you were taking like hours out or you're adding hours in and maybe like didn't click the next thing, and all of a sudden a booking's come through and it was like, oh, I didn't realize that was happening. So we just want to make sure that that doesn't happen with the templates, especially when you're adding it into your diary, because you do need to basically click and choose the template you want for that time. Otherwise, it will automatically go on your default service areas, which is basically the ones that would have been set for you either at onboarding or would have been updated since then. So yeah, just remember to save your templates. Remember to save the template that you want in the time slot that you're adding in your diary, because at the end of the day, it will be the same as your availability. You will be responsible for managing it, which is why we kind of are recommending to keep it simple, just to make your kind of time management and diary management as easy as possible. Because yeah, obviously we don't want to get stuck in a situation where I put the wrong template in, or I forgot to save the templates. I didn't realize I was working in all these areas, because obviously the cancellation policy will still apply then. And yeah, at the end of the day as well, we've got other preferences running, behind in the app. And we'll speak about some of those as well, ones that will help you increase your booking chances as well. But one of them, which I think a lot of you might already have turned on, is allowing your existing clients or your regulars to book you outside of your service area. So maybe you had someone that you were seeing regularly in Chiswick, and since then you've moved, but you still don't mind seeing them, so you've allowed them to continue booking you. Just a kind of heads up that this will continue to be the case regardless of the templates you have on. So say, you don't usually do Chiswick, but now you're on a completely other, like different template now. It's not even you're on your home template, you're now in your school template or your work template. If you have this sort of feature turned on where your existing clients can still book you, regardless of your current service areas, they will still be able to book you regardless of the template as well. So just a heads up, and just be aware of what you have sort of switched on at the moment in your app as well. Cool. So that's kind of our overview of the templates feature. We'll obviously go into the Q&A at the end so we can answer any more questions that you might have. So feel free to post them. We've got some from the sign up sheet as well. So now we're just going to go into a little bit more detail around sort of the app features and also some other sort of profile optimization, like ways that you can basically manage your time and stuff that will help you also boost your bookings. So.
Awesome. So we have a couple of other app features that Camilla's already touched on that are really key in ensuring that you can get as many bookings as you really want, as much as possible. One of the main ones is that allowing your clients to rebook you outside of your current service areas. That's a great way of kind of maintaining your relationships with clients that you've built over time, even if you choose to no longer service that area for any particular reason. So it's a really key one. And yeah, remembering that that's going to kind of override any templates that you have. So that's really key to kind of take home point, is ensuring that you're more than happy to go back to those service areas. Another great one is allowing existing clients to request availability through instant messaging. So the way this works is you have to enable that preference in your app, and that means that anyone who's booked you in the past, so an existing client, will be able to when they go on the app, they'll see an option to request your availability if you've not haven't got any hours in on that day or that kind of time period. And then they will be able to send you a message via IM, and you'll be able to kind of communicate to kind of decide on a time that works for both of you. So not having that, if you choose to not have that on, you're able to kind of switch that on and off as you please. However, it's a great way, again, of ensuring that you kind of can retain your clients as much as possible and encourage rebooking, and ensure that you and your client are able to find times that work for both of you. And again, being as kind of to be able to tailor your diary as much as possible. And then another key feature that's super important is your location. So enabling GPS services and ensuring that your location is always on. We understand that it is quite draining on your phone. However, it's really, really important for travel time, and for us to be able to kind of get you as many bookings as possible, and for the travel time to be as accurate as possible as well, so you're able to get to your bookings with enough time, and also to not have too much time added on, because if you don't have your location services on, there will be a set time of 1 hour that travel time that will be added to every booking. So even if the booking is kind of around the corner from you, that 1 hour will be added automatically. So that can really reduce the amount of bookings that you're able to get in a day if you don't have that on. So really, that's a very, very, really key one. Always have your location settings on to optimize your travel time. Awesome. So we're going to go over a couple of other kind of fun things that you guys can do to ensure that your profile is able to stand out from the crowd. And this then, by maximizing your visibility, you're able to maximize your earnings, essentially. Now, we all kind of live in a world where we're always on our phones. So ensuring that you kind of promote yourself where possible is really going to help you guys rate the bookings in and kind of put yourself out there. So one of the main ones that you can do through the Hero app is promote your reviews. So as with anything, users really love reviews. So whether it be Amazon or any kind of online retailer, any app, people love to read reviews and really know what service they're getting, who they're getting, and really understand you as a person. So we have a really cool thing where a lot of you already know this and probably already have amazing reviews promoted on your profile, but you're able to pick up to 5 customer reviews to promote on your profile. So it creates a little kind of icon and it enlarges the review. So it'll be one of the first things that customers can see when they go onto your profile. And that's a great way of really showcasing your best work, showcasing your best reviews, and giving an insight into how you work and who you are as a practitioner. Another thing that you can do is promote your profile by using your direct link. So again, in your app, you have a direct link to your urban profile, and you can use that on your social media. You can even airdrop it if you're with someone and they meet you and you get to chatting and you kind of tell them what you do for work and they're like, oh, I'd love a massage or I'd love a facial. You can kind of send them that link and they'll be able to find you very easily on the app, as opposed to kind of searching through, trying to find you through the practitioner list or through the kind of other ways they can find a service on the app. It's a really great way to ensure that people kind of are able to find you very easily and directly. Another key thing is personalizing your profile. So the thing we found through user testing is that our users really want to know who their practitioner is. They want to know them as a person. They want to know what your expertise is, what makes you unique, and that's really one of the key things that determines who they pick to book. So having a friendly photo and a personalized biography can increase your chances of getting booked by up to 10%, which is amazing. And across the kind of long haul, that can really, really add up. So really making sure that your bio is up to date and reflects all your experience and kind of showcases your personality and your skills is really, really key, and is going to make sure that when people see your profile, they know what they're getting, they know who you are and how you work as a therapist and practitioner. And it's a great way of really showcasing who you are. Another thing that you can do, which is an awesome way to earn passive income, is by referring your friends to the platform. So a lot of you will have gone to different massage schools or beauty schools and will know people who work in the industry, and will know that we have a referral scheme where you can earn £150 for referring any friends onto the platform, and they will also get a £50 bonus after they've completed their five treatments on the platform. So that's a great way of earning passive income and kind of also ensuring that your friends also get a benefit from joining us as well. And now, as we've moved more towards a remote onboarding process where people can come onto the platform from the comfort of their own home, it's a lot easier to join Urban at the moment. So really, you guys can make the most of this process and bring all your friends onto Urban.
Cool. So those are kind of, little things that you can do to very easily stand out. And yeah, there's obviously other ways that you can also stand out by mainly sort of finding the spot that, people are looking to book. And obviously, we want people to be working hours that work for them, but we also want those hours to overlap as much as possible with when customers are obviously looking to book, because we don't want you to just be sitting at home like waiting for bookings and nothing's coming through because it's like midnight. So yeah, obviously there are a few things that are already built into your app, which will help you do this. So one of them is the heat map. So in your service areas, you can see the color coding of each area is actually related to live data that we have collected from basically the times and the places that customers are looking to book. So for example, if you're a massage therapist, then the colors that are going to come up on there are related to sort of high demand, sort of medium demand, and sort of lower demand, areas or times, depending on if you're looking at the map or if you're looking at your diary. And that's looking at basically the last 30 days. This is kind of like how much people were looking for booking within these times or areas. And that's updated every day. So it's like a rolling 30 days. It's like these are the places that are sort of overall pretty high demand. So there's obviously that. So that will help you when you're adding your hours in or when you're choosing your areas for your templates to sort of determine whether or not you maybe want to add a few more sort of like dark red areas. If you notice that you're only really working in these kind of lower volume, like yellow service areas, then maybe you want to add on a few sort of orangey, reddy ones, because basically like the hotter they get in terms of like color, that's like the hotter it gets in terms of demand. So that's a pretty good indicator of like overall demand. Like this is when customers are looking, this is where customers are looking. So if you're sort of, expecting that customers will continue to behave that way in the next month, then, you add those areas and that will increase your chances and increase your visibility during those sort of busy times and places. And then there's another kind of indicator, I guess, of when people are trying to book or, a good time or a good place to add your hours. So while this is looking at sort of overall demand, which is basically when they usually want to have a booking, we also have times when customers are struggling to find a booking. So that might mean that like everyone is working at the like, in these high demand areas and high demand times, but they're all booked out. So customers are really struggling at that time because there's still this demand, but we don't have enough of our community who are there in order to meet that and take those bookings. So whether that's like because, like I said, everyone's already working, but they're all booked out, or maybe it's that, particularly for our newer services, we have a smaller community and we're all kind of spread pretty thinly on the ground trying to cover as much area as we can. But because of that, maybe there are parts of London, there might be parts of Manchester, parts of Birmingham, where we don't actually have that many people around. Or maybe there are certain times of day as well where because of people's commitments or they're already booked out, there might be times of day where actually lower in terms of the members of our community who are currently around to take bookings. So for that reason, there are more people looking to book during those times than there are available to take them. So this is the kind of information that we're sort of sharing. So that will be things that you're getting through your WhatsApp groups or through your sort of emails and sort of text messages and push notifications. So these are those kind of more like weekly on the spot. We notice that this is a time that people are really unable to find anyone. So if you add those onto your profile, whether it's shifting your hours a little bit or adding those service areas on for a little bit, then that kind of allows you to sort of fill that little gap there. And it's kind of like a quick win where you can basically try and capture a few more bookings because there's basically less competition at that time. There's no one there, and yeah, a lot of people are trying to find someone and are struggling. So that's kind of the sort of two things that we have. We have this kind of constant demand indication through your app, helping you add your hours and your areas at busy times, and then we also have these kind of a little bit more like live sort of comms that are going out, and those are to help you sort of fill those quick areas areas or times where people are really struggling to find someone. So yeah, obviously times and areas are very important, but the other thing that is really important are the treatments that you offer. So yeah, if you're offering massage, for example, having deep tissue, having sports, those kinds of treatments on your profile, like upscaling and offering those on the platform, that will really boost your chances of getting booked. For nails, people love getting gel, obviously, and shellac. A lot of customers don't understand that gel and shellac are, in the same sort of family, but it's just a brand. So yeah, being able, we have a lot more people who are looking for C&D, for example, who potentially don't understand that gel is, basically the same thing, or maybe they have a preference, they want specific shades in C&D. So sort of offering those treatments can really help you. Obviously with facials, a lot of you offer massage as well. So you're kind of, you're balancing both of those things at the same time, and you can also offer both of those treatments. And yeah, with sort of the other services that we have, like personal training, and osteopathy, physiotherapy, I guess you're only offering two things there, but yeah, so that one is a little bit more making sure that you're in the right times and the places that people are looking. But yeah, definitely for sort of our beauty and massage treatments, where you can kind of upscale and add different treatments onto your profile, it's definitely a good way to enable you to take bookings throughout the day. For example, we have our lash partners as well, who you can do online training with and just add that onto your profile. It's just a tiny bit more kit to carry around with you. But you can just pop that in with your nail stuff and take it with you, and you can take a few extra bookings. Or yeah, like with massage, if you wanted to do, I don't know, like reflexology, Thai, we've even got the CBD massage where you can buy the kit through the shop, and you just do the training online. And then just having more treatments on your profile will obviously just show you to more customers who are looking to book. So that will help you fill all the gaps in your diary, hopefully, if you offer enough at the right time. Oh, sorry, and just to touch on that, similar to what Yasmin said about referring your friends, we have a fully remote trade testing process set up now. So it's just as tight in terms of maintaining quality, but it means that you don't need to find a model, you don't need to come to our office, you can literally do it from the comfort of your home. So yeah, definitely encourage, if you've done any additional treatment during additional training during lockdown, or if you're sort of in the process of upskilling at the moment, it's definitely worth continuing your professional development in that way. And then, once you've got your certificate, once you've updated your insurance, yeah, just fill out that form. It's on your FAQ. I'm sure you can find it on the forum as well. We'll send out periodic emails. And yeah, all you need to do is basically, say what treatments you want to add onto your profile. And then our onboarding team will basically send you over the assessment materials. And it will be sort of all online, a combination of online testing. We might need to get you to do a couple test bookings as well. But yeah, hopefully it should make your life a bit more convenient and a bit easier to add it on, while still maintaining that same quality of treatment that we're offering on the platform. Cool.
Awesome. If we just turn off the presentation sharing so they can see our faces, and we'll get started with the questions. So I'm going to start with the questions you guys have asked us in the comments section. Let's have a look. So some of these we might have already covered, but we'll just touch on them quickly. Someone asked, can we run several templates at a time or just one? So as Camilla said, you can run several templates at a time. Keeping them as minimal as possible is going to be great for you guys, just to kind of ensure that you don't get confused and you're not running too many and losing track of which areas are on which templates at which times. And yeah, starting slow and building up. And as you kind of get more comfortable with which templates mean what and what areas they are, then you can kind of build on that. But yeah, you're able to run multiple ones at a time. Tracy asked, how do we ensure we've covered the right areas on the map to coincide with the area we wish to work?
So for that one, you'll basically, for each template, you will hand pick. So you tap on each area to add them in. So you'll only receive bookings sort of in those areas, unless you've got this setting turned on where your existing clients can book you outside of it. So I guess to sort of make sure that you are adding the right areas, just make sure you check when you click on the area that those are the places you want to work in. Sometimes I know it can be a bit difficult, like looking at your phone and sort of trying to tell from this shape that this is a certain area. So you can always like open it up, the Hero portal on your computer as well. And then you can kind of zoom in a lot more to the service areas. You can see the names of them as well, just to double check that they're the ones you want. So hopefully like by using those kind of two methods, you should be able to be choosing the right areas. And obviously if you're really struggling for whatever reason, like our customer support team are here to chat with you from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day. So, if you always need them to check or validate anything, you can always jump on chat with them.
We've also got a question from Prith, who's asking, can we please go through all the bugs in the template feature?
Yeah, so we have only one bug at the moment that we're aware of. So whoever received the sort of beta testing version, there probably were more bugs in it, but that's kind of why we do beta testing. So we put out the feature to a small group of people so that you can report back bugs to us, and then we can obviously fix them before we actually do the proper launch. So any kind of issues that would have been flagged then should be fixed now. The only bug that we are aware of at the moment with the feature is actually more of like a design related one. So it just makes it look a little bit less pretty as opposed to sort of messing with the functionality of it. So that one is basically once you've got a booking, because of the kind of way that the time slot is laid out, the text kind of wraps around a little bit. So for example, if it said like 6 to 7:30, I don't know, deep tissue with Yasmin, instead of kind of cutting off or being two clean lines, it kind of wraps a bit and might kind of make the text not look very nice. But that's being worked on at the moment. And yeah, that's the only bug that our product team have reported to us at the moment. Again, it is a new feature, so if anything does come up while you're using it, any kind of new bugs or anything, then yeah, please report it to customer support, via chat. If it's not that urgent, you can also email it to them, and they basically sit within the same team as our sort of product department, so that they're able to quickly feedback any issues that we have, so that our team can jump on it and try to resolve it as quickly as possible as well.
Awesome. We've had a couple people asking when this new feature is going to be live. Hopefully tomorrow. Tomorrow's the launch date, so it's going to be fresh in your minds when the feature goes live, which is exciting. So yeah, if you've recently updated your app, don't worry if it's not on there, it still hasn't been pushed yet. So you should receive a notification in the App Store tomorrow saying that there's a new version of the app. So you'll just need to download that when that goes live. We have someone asking when we'll be able to update our profile photos.
That is a good question. So it's just been a bit difficult to get a process in place because obviously we are still working from home. I guess the main reason why we aren't, currently opening up for everybody to just take their own photos and start uploading them to their profiles, because again, we want to maintain some consistency across all the profiles. So yeah, you might notice that some new therapists who've come on board have obviously sent us a picture in, but we do have a very small team at the moment who are working on the sort of onboarding side of things and the profile update side of things. So between kind of making sure that they're able to, carry out what they have to do, and also being able to do it from home and not have to come into the office when, when we're not all there at the moment to take pictures all day, we haven't put something in place. If we're seeing that, obviously loads of people are trying to do this, then we can try and work something out. But it's kind of one of those things that we're still in a slightly reduced team. We're all still working from home. So we're just trying to prioritize the things that we really need to get done to make sure that everyone's working at the right times, everyone's getting enough bookings, everyone's kind of happy and being able to get responses from us, instead of doing a million things and not being able to respond to people in time, and then you're kind of waiting around and maybe don't feel like you're getting the attention from us that you need. So yeah, I mean, if it's really, 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 bringing you down and you feel like it's really, really stopping you from getting bookings, then maybe we can have a discussion about it and try to do something. But just for the time being, obviously we have a lot of things that are going on. So we're just trying to make sure that we're able to not compromise on that, to sort of, quickly update something on one or two profiles.
Awesome. So Prith has also commented saying that we're currently losing 30-minute slots if we choose 2 templates within one day. So I'm assuming that means that if you have like using two templates back to back, that you'll need to have a gap of 30 minutes required between each template section.
Okay. So that we'll have to take that one away, I think, because I'm not sure if that's something that you were experiencing as part of the beta group, or if that had already been, if that's already been sort of flagged to our product team. Because if so, then that would be something that would be addressed prior to the actual launch. So yeah, we'll have to take that one away to see if that's still persisting, like within the final launch version. Because yeah, it obviously shouldn't be that way. You should be able to kind of put your hours in sort of back to back, and then still be able to adjust the templates within them. So let us take that back to the team and make sure that's resolved.
Awesome. Another question we've got is about slots. So are there any plans to have 15-minute slots rather than 30-minute one, like the ones we have at the moment?
Again, it's another one that, if we had sort of all the time in the world and able to get everything done at once, that would be happening. It is something that, particularly now that we have a lot of treatments that might not be exactly 60 minutes or exactly 90 minutes, we have been discussing a little bit. But yeah, again, we can only do a set number of things that set like amount of time. So it is one of those things that is on the radar for our product team to build. But because, we need to fit it in around sort of other things that are already kind of laid out for the next, 3 months at least, it won't be coming at least until next year at some point.
So we've got a question about the WhatsApp groups and live comms that we mentioned. So just to give you guys a bit of an understanding of what we mean when we say WhatsApp groups, we don't have like a huge plethora of WhatsApp groups going on at the moment. It's the way we do them is that when we have a new service where we have a small group of practitioners or therapists working, we'll initially start off with a WhatsApp group because it's just a very easy way to communicate, and it ensures that we can kind of get live responses rather than going through a channel like the forum or emails, which might take a little bit longer. And having everyone in one kind of small group is a great way to kind of kickstart a new speciality on the app. So if you are a massage therapist, there are no current massage WhatsApp groups. The forum is the main kind of channel of communication, as well as kind of going via email and the traditional routes as well. So if you haven't heard about WhatsApp groups, it's likely that you are a massage therapist, and as a result, because it's a very well established service on the platform, the forum is the main channel that you guys communicate with us and with each other on. And then in terms of the live comms, it's actually something that we do every week quite like manually at the moment, and Camilla is kind of largely the person who does that. So she'll kind of look at the data and see where there's a lot of demand, and we'll then send kind of communications as a result of that. So you'll find that you receive kind of it's largely push notifications different times of the week, which then indicate to you which areas are kind of have a lot of demand, which times, and kind of get an idea of how many users are searching and not finding a practitioner. So hopefully that answers those two questions for you. Another question about WhatsApp groups. Could the current bugs be fixed already? We've already touched on that. Question regarding ratings. Does Urban remind clients to leave ratings and feedback? I find that only 50% of the time I get a rating, even after I ask the clients.
Hi, Doug. So yeah, we do actually send a reminder. So as soon as somebody's finished a booking, they will receive a triggered notification from their phone. They also get an email afterwards, basically saying like, how was your treatment or how was your session? Don't forget to leave your practitioner a review, and would you like to also give them a tip as well? So we do send them both a push notification and an email to follow up with them, to try and obviously encourage them to do so, because we know that it obviously affects the way that other people see your profile as well.
So we've got a question from Paris saying, will there be an option for an online only template? So being able to do virtual sessions in the morning and in-person sessions in the afternoon or evening.
Yes, that is a good question. We did actually have it submitted as well online, so I'm happy that got mentioned. So yeah, it's definitely something again that is on the roadmap. So obviously this is at the moment it's just choosing the areas and just choosing the times. And this is kind of like the first version of it. And obviously we want to then be able to develop that. So whether it means, there are a few ideas of what the next sort of thing that can sort of be the priority would be. But obviously one of them would be potentially the ability to choose to offer different services at different times, whether it's different like, online and offline services, or whether it's, I only want to do, PT in the evening or PT in the morning and massage in the evening. But yeah, again, with all of these things, it takes like considerable amount of time to do them. They have to be sort of built by the team, and often like you can't really put an amount of time that it takes to sort of solve that, because they actually have to go through the working of it to try and figure out if it would work. So yeah, within the sort of that's why everything that we have to build into the app or sort of update in the app takes quite a while, because there's the whole sort of process starting from trying to understand which kind of problems we need to solve first, and then kind of deciding how do we do that, and then testing on it, and then sort of testing with you guys on it, and then releasing it. So we have to do that for like every single thing that we build. And then obviously there are lots of other things that are going on. So it's again one of those things that's not on the sort of roadmap for the end of this year, but it's on the kind of radar of the product team. So as soon as they're able to free up some resource, then they'll be able to kind of look at like what the next sort of version of this would look like.
Awesome. Let's have a look. So Joyce is asking, how will this impact the algorithm and my booking numbers if I choose to not use the templates?
It shouldn't affect your algorithm or booking numbers really. So I guess I think that to answer this question, probably worth like breaking it down into sort of the algorithm itself, and then kind of how, and then I guess like templates in itself, like how that then affects your location. So the ranking algorithm is obviously the calculations going on in the background to kind of then churn out the practitioners who are showing on the screen and in what order. So there are three sort of variables that go into that. One of them is your location, so in relation to the booking, so how much time it will take for you to get there. One of them is sort of your rating, and the other thing is sort of the gap that you have in your diary at the moment. So how much time do you have between your current booking and the next one, for example. If you have loads of time there, that's a big gap. If they're very close together, that's a small gap. So yeah, up until sort of like post lockdown, each of these variables have had a equal weighting. So these kind of three things we considered very equally to then sort of calculate together and show you in an order. At the moment, just since we've reopened, we have sort of put this location one a little bit stronger, which might be going back down again, just to sort of show people who are closer to a client sort of higher up the list. So that's kind of sort of relating to that. Your templates, if you have a template where maybe you're covering a really big area and you're not actually close to the client, in some respect that will then obviously impact your location. So then it might kind of show you a little bit further down if you're really, really far away, for example. But other than that, it shouldn't affect the kind of the consumer behavior in terms of like booking. We have had a lot of questions about sort of the ranking algorithm and sort of whether or not that sort of impacts the number of bookings you get, which I think is the second part of this question. And I think it's something that we kind of need to assure everyone about. We've done user testing with our customers. So every time, as I mentioned before, anytime we sort of release new features, we do user testing with people. We see how they react to different screens. We ask them questions about why they're making those decisions. And we found that pretty much everyone who goes through our app, they'll get through to the screen with the therapists or the trainers or the osteopaths, and they will scroll down. That's like the first thing that they do. So being a little bit further down that list doesn't mean you won't get seen by users at the end of the day. And actually, when we've asked them what the kind of things are that they're more interested in, it's not like your sort of position in that ranking algorithm doesn't really affect the decision that they make when they actually book somebody. They are way more interested in, is my practitioner an expert? And that's something that you can show in a lot of different places. Are you offering all the treatments that you can offer? Are you really showcasing your talents in your bio? Obviously, once you get good ratings and reviews, are you promoting them on your profile? Like that creates a much stronger profile for you, as opposed to like, I'm number 4 on this list of 8 people. So definitely more important to have like a really shining profile where you're really exemplifying like your skills and talents, as opposed to, you know, trying your hardest to come up as number 1, because at the end of the day, they're just going to still want to see everybody on the, you know, who they're presented with anyway. So yeah, just to kind of summarize, the templates, depending on how big they are, might influence your location from the booking, and also having your GPS on will help with that as well. But in terms of the ranking algorithm and, you know, influencing the number of bookings you have, customers don't really care what order you're showing on there. They're more interested in like, is my practitioner an expert? What have other people said about them to validate that fact that they're an expert? Are they friendly? Are they nice? You know, when I book them, do they give me a nice treatment? Then I'm going to book them again. So I think it's, you know, if you're able to master those things, you'll be okay.
Right, we have a couple of comments about certain app bugs. So it's probably best for us to take those forward to our product team and share those with them, as me and Camilla aren't probably the best people to answer those. But just so you guys know, we have seen them and we'll pass those on. Graham is asking, what about the bug of clients booking all more separate therapists at the same time to the same location on the same account?
So I don't think this is a bug. We have disabled, so obviously because of coronavirus and sort of minimizing the number of people that are in one household at one time, we have disabled the ability for people to book couples massages, for example. However, if we just think about a world where this COVID stuff didn't happen, which would be nice, then yeah, we did have previously the option for people to book obviously multiple treatments with multiple people. So whether it's they want to have a couples massage, or they wanted to have, I don't know, their nails done with their friend or whatever, then yeah, obviously they can book multiple practitioners to come to their location, to offer them multiple services at one time. So that is something that we've had, and hopefully we'll be able to reintroduce once obviously things have calmed down a little bit. But yeah, at the moment, I think the main thing is they're not able to do that because we've sort of removed the option to do it easily from the platform. But that's not really a bug. It's more just to do with minimizing the sort of amount of people that are in one room at one time because of obviously safety measures. Hopefully that answers that question.
Had Dragos asking, it says Joanna Brown and Yasmin on the screen. I think
no, that's my mistake.
I think Elsa's answered saying that you are using Joanna's Zoom account, because that means that we can be here for longer than 40 minutes, which is good, so we can answer all of your great questions.
Oh, Art. Hi, Art. So Art from our product team is actually in the chat, so he should be able to. He'll be taking your sort of anything that's come up like bugs wise or questions that we can't answer, and he'll be taking them back to the team.
We've got Natalie. Hi, Natalie, asking how to update years of experience on her profile.
So yeah, really easy. Just ping over a message to customer support. Just like an FYI, we need to have some kind of documentation, but like we update your years of experience based on sort of the certificates. We need to be able to have something to back it up. So if, for example, it currently says 2 years because you were onboarded last year and now it's 3 years, then it's really easy. Just get in touch with us and say like, hey, it's been another year kind of thing. Like, can you update it? Because we do need to do it manually at the moment. Then they'll just quickly check your certificate, make sure that it was, say, 2017 that you passed, and then they'll update that to 3 years. If it's something else, like maybe you'd done your NBQ level 3 or something in 2006, but you actually did I don't know, like a sports therapy bachelor's in like 1981, but we don't have that certificate, and it currently shows you as 2006 qualified. That's just because that's the earliest certificate we have. So you can always upload your sort of earlier certificate on there. As long as it kind of still fulfills our minimum criteria, then let customer support know again, and they can obviously update that for you.
Awesome. Then we've also got another comment from Zia saying, what if customers book from separate accounts to the same address?
So I guess with those kinds of things, there's not, yeah, like inevitably some people might do that. I guess the main thing with that, the reason why we've removed it, it's not like it's illegal or it can't happen. It's just because we don't want to accidentally be putting people into a situation where they're encouraged to do it, and maybe they don't have enough space, and then they have to cancel bookings because obviously you can't sort of social distance with 5 people in a room or something. So yeah, I mean, if 2 people do book and they're able to have their treatments kind of, you know, appropriately distanced, preferably in separate rooms if possible, then there isn't really anything that needs to take place. But if you ever find yourself in a situation maybe where, I don't know, there's, you know, 3 or 4 therapists there, or even 3 therapists there, and all of a sudden there's more than like 6 people in your home or in that person's home, and you're all kind of crammed into this tiny room and you're not able to stay at least a meter apart from each other, then maybe you should get in touch with customer support at that point. Just jump on the chat again with them and just let them know like there are way too many people here. And yeah, we'd rather you get in touch with us and just, you know, be sure than to, you know, carry out that treatment, for example, and then the next person gets booked there, and then it's really uncomfortable because they try to do something about it, and then the customer gets angry because, you know, this happened before and no one said anything. If that makes sense.
Great. Got a couple of the same questions about bios and photos. We've got someone asking, is the app considering to not allow clients to leave low ratings without a comment? So at the moment, clients who are leaving a rating of 4 or lower will have to leave a comment. So that's already in place, so that shouldn't be happening. And if you are finding that that's happening, then please let us know, because that would definitely be a bug and not something we want to happen. So yeah, we really want to get as much information from our clients as possible when they leave a low rating. So for both us and for you guys to understand why that's the case and why that's happened. So constructive feedback is key. So yeah, please let us know if you ever notice that, because that shouldn't be happening. Got another question from Joyce saying, if you have a booking at 3 p.m. in West London and then it's 1 p.m. at the moment and she's in East London, if there's a request at 5 p.m. in West London, does the algorithm go by current location or where she'll be at 3 p.m.?
So I think that should calculate from where you would be at 3, considering that would be your next location. If I'm wrong, then someone from product will correct me.
Correct you. I assume it's always the location that you're in when the booking is made. So
yeah. Okay, then I was wrong. So yeah,
someone will correct us.
Yeah. I mean, basically, if you had a booking, so if you have a booking at 3, then it will end, say, at 4 o'clock, and then the next booking would be at 5. So you would have to be able to get from that 3 to 4 o'clock booking to get to the 5 o'clock booking on time. And that will be based off of your travel time from that 3 to 4 p.m. booking to the 5 p.m. booking. So definitely, if you're like, say in West London, and this is where your 3 p.m. booking is, that's your next booking, and you're currently here, and this is, you know, less than 1 hour, then you'll show as unavailable, even if this is like 5 hours away.
Yeah, that's right.
That makes sense.
Awesome. We've got a comment. It's basically saying, are the practitioners able to write in their bio that they don't want to service certain clients? So adding kind of specific details about the clients that they don't want to treat. So I think that you won't want to alienate people from your profile, and it's really important to come across as kind of professional and friendly, and kind of indicating who you don't want to treat in your profile might not be the best place to start. However, if you do have clients that you go to and you just don't want to go back there again, or you just don't want to treat them ever again, you are able to do a one-to-one block. So that feature is always open. You can contact customer support or do it through the app, and that way you can ensure that you don't have to see that person again. And the reasoning is completely up to you. However, for your profile, it's best to keep it as based on you as possible rather than the client. So the point of the profile is to showcase who you are rather than who you don't want to to kind of have book you, if that makes sense.
I think also just on that point, yeah, we don't obviously want to be discriminating, like the service, like we don't want to be discriminating against people in terms of the services that we offer to different groups of people, like whether it's, you know, their gender or it's, you know, the shape of their body, because you obviously then fall into a bit of a fuzzy area where, you know, maybe you do have your own reasons, you know, maybe it's literally, I don't know, it's difficult for you physically to do these treatments, which is why we kind of, if in that situation, want to still support you, then you can obviously have the one-to-one block when you have customers who are like that. But yeah, I think just in terms of adding anything onto your profile that is sort of could potentially be taken as discrimination, that's kind of like a more serious reason to maybe just be careful around sort of saying no based on kind of what people look like, yeah, customer wise.
We'll get a couple more questions in. So we've got Sophie asking, do ratings have less power the longer you've been on the platform? I.e., do ratings you get early on have a bigger effect on your overall rating?
So there's two things actually that play into this. So I guess in terms of do ratings have less power the longer you're on the platform? I guess, so your rating's basically like a weighted average. So yeah, the longer you're on the platform, you're more likely to have more bookings, and the more bookings you have, the more ratings you have, the sort of more stable it becomes. So whether it's kind of a good thing, it means if you have a good rating, it's harder for it to drop. But you know, on the same way, like if you're really trying to get that 4.99 and you're stuck at 4.96, then it might feel really frustrating. But also customers really don't mind about the 0.04 part of the rating. But yeah, obviously if you get like a 5-star rating and you have loads and loads and loads of 5-star ratings already, it's not going to make a huge difference. Whereas if you only have 3 ratings and then you get a 5-star rating or you get a 1-star rating, then you know it's going to fluctuate a lot more. In terms of ratings that you get early on and having a bigger effect on your overall rating, it will have a bigger effect at that time because obviously there's less ratings to sort of average it out against. But as you grow your booking numbers, yeah, it becomes more stable. Customers who are new, however, their rating does get counted twice. So you might sometimes find that you have a rating that you might find that you get a rating that, oh my God, this is only a 5-star rating, but for some reason it really boosted my profile. Like, I don't know what's going on. It could just be that that's a new user. So their rating has counted as like 2 5-stars, for example. But yeah, if you ever have any like kind of weird situations that go on with your rating, you know, like it's suddenly dropped or I don't know, yeah, it suddenly shot up. I don't think you'd get in touch about that. You just celebrating. But yeah, you can obviously get in touch with us. Yeah, if it's anything that might not be related to the treatment, then yeah, we do have a process in place where we can kind of open a dispute around it. But yeah, I know that ratings can create a lot of like anxiety or, you know, it's something to fixate on. But honestly, you know, we only like do sort of investigations on things that are like less than 3 stars. So the same way, like if you don't have a 3-star rating, as long as you've got like a 4 point something, like, you know, you're doing well, and customers like to read reviews and stuff as well. So people, you know, they're not going to be looking at like this person has a 4.78, you know, and 500 reviews, and then they're not going to think that that's bad. They're going to think that that's great. So yeah.
We have time for a couple more final questions. Natalie is asking, will there be an opportunity in the future to decline a booking without being penalized? I know this has been a topic on the forum before.
Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so with declining bookings, it is something that has come up quite a lot on the forum, and it's the way the platform is built and the way the booking system is built. It's built to for a client to be able to kind of book when they want and who they want without kind of avoiding disappointment where possible, because we want you guys to have a booking and we want the client to receive the treatment that they want. And the issue with having a system where you can decline bookings, it's going to kind of cause a lot of kind of disappointment with the client. They might have seen your profile, really wanted to book you, and then they receive a notification half an hour later saying that you've declined it or you don't want to kind of take that booking. So from my understanding, that's the kind of main reason why the platform is built the way it is. We do understand that there are times where you might not want to take a booking, but that's why we've developed all these tools in place for you to be able to tailor when you work, where you work, for how long you want to work, to be able to avoid the need to decline a booking. So you can basically work when you want, and ensure that, say you want to have Saturday evenings to spend time with your family or your partner, you can block out that time and not get booked. So from my understanding, I don't think that's something that's on the horizon on our kind of product roadmap, but I do understand that it's a concern for quite a few practitioners and has been brought up quite a few times. So yeah, you can probably go on the forum and see the kind of responses we've given, a kind of more in-depth response from why the booking system is the way it is.
Mm-hmm. I think also worth mentioning, kind of related to what we were saying before about, the sort of ranking algorithm and stuff. I guess like what Urban is known for is the fact that people can come onto the platform and they can look at your profile and they can decide, I want this specific person to come and, be my sort of wellness warrior for me. And, they've chosen you for a certain reason, right? Like whether it's because they were recommended from a friend, or whether it's because they saw your profile and they really like that you studied Muay Thai for 20 years and now decided to, make that your passion and like working with the joints and whatever. So they'll all have their reasons. And for that specific, they've gone onto the app and they're like, I really want Yasmin to come and like, I want her to give me this treatment. So we do have a lot of clients who are like that. So we obviously want to be able to allow you to develop relationships with that client, because another really interesting thing about our customer base is that, we have a lot of businesses have, the majority of their bookings are made up by people who kind of come in and come out quickly. They'll try a treatment and then they won't ever book again. But we have a really sort of special customer base in the sense that most of our, like the majority of our bookings come from people who are regular bookers, people who come back and they rebook. So, what that means on the therapist side or the practitioner side is that, you get one or two or three of these clients who are looking for somebody to consistently follow them on this wellness journey. And then that's basically you set, you know that on Wednesday you're going to have Bryce, and on Thursday you're going to have Yasmin, and on Wednesday morning you're going to have me, for example. And then that, those are your regular clients. So, yeah, we're basically just trying to connect people with the professional that they really want, and then also be able to, connect our professionals with sort of lifelong clients, hopefully, who will then help you sort of grow your business and allow you some stability, regardless of the fact that you're working sort of in a mobile way.
Awesome. I think we've actually touched on all of the questions in the chat.
Cool.
There might be some that you guys have sent in that we haven't touched on, but we'll work on putting those all together in kind of one concise place, and we'll share it with you guys so you can kind of check and see if your questions have been answered. But I think we've touched on all the main ones.
Mm-hmm. Just going through the list of stuff that was submitted. Sorry. So one of them is how to avoid congestion charge. I think we'd already mentioned that. Obviously, Central to North, Central to South, and Central to City are the three service areas. So you can get as close as Belgravia and Pimlico driving without getting into any of those sort of fee-paying zones. And for any Birmingham people, if you're watching this, we are aware that there is a clean air sort of low emission zone coming up soon. So we are obviously trying to do something to help you also be able to avoid that if you need to. Will there be an option? We already did that. We had a question about whether there'll be a feature in future that will allow you to add your own sort of personal bookings, for example, into the Urban calendar, so that we know sort of where you are and automatically sort of what your availability is like. It's quite a tricky question. I think the easiest sort of way and most straightforward way to answer this is probably not at the moment. I guess the main concern around this is around sort of GDPR. And we don't want to be putting you in a position where you accidentally share any of your clients' information if they're not from Urban with us, because that could put you and us in a very sort of sticky situation if that client didn't specifically sort of allow you to do that. So yeah, probably not. With the parking features, we had some questions around any advice for drivers when parking's unavailable. So obviously clients can leave parking notes for you when they make their booking. This is separate from booking notes, and this will automatically save based on their address as well. So any like future bookings that will automatically go on there. Obviously not every client will sort of fill this out. So, you know, the sort of top recommendation I would say is if you're not sure of the area and you're trying to find parking in the area, there's not a lot of information on there, jump onto that IM with your client, like really own that relationship with your client if you can. And yeah, they'll probably be able to let you know, maybe they have a permit they can use, or they know that their neighbor doesn't use their driveway or something. And yeah, you can sort of figure that out over IM. And sort of in terms of things that I know the community do sometimes is sort of obviously try and plan ahead as much as you can. But there are tools like Parkopedia, which I think a lot of people use, where you can kind of look up the area and it will bring up sort of parking zones sort of near to you or near to that area and sort of how much they are and how busy they are. But yeah, obviously, just try to plan ahead as much as possible. Try to contact your client if you're unsure. And if anything goes wrong, just try and get in touch with both your client and CS as soon as possible so that we can try and find a resolution. And then one last question I think that we didn't cover was around service areas and sort of making them bigger or smaller. Actually, it was specifically smaller. Yeah, so in theory, like it is technically possible, and it is something that we started doing a little bit of interviews around just to get your sort of feedback on certain areas or sort of areas that you find are sort of tricky to service because of the size. Again, it does involve sort of work from our development team. What they basically need to do is like redefine the boundaries of each place. So in terms of the way that the roadmap is currently set out, it wouldn't be possible in the next few months. But you know, if we do get around to doing it, it would also be a lot sort of more efficient for us to do sort of all areas that are sort of causing this issue than to just do one or two at a time. So there is a larger piece of work around that, like understanding, you know, which areas should be changed, like how many people are really flagging this as an issue, like why is this an issue, so that we can make sure that the solution to that issue is actually effective, like for the actual reason. So if it's because of traffic or if it's because of not being able to park. And yeah, like what would those new boundaries be? Like where would like a better sort of boundary to that area be? And yeah, like what would the impact be for us to then change those the size of those areas? So yeah, again, there's like a lot of research that needs to go around it, and you know, they'll have a lot of conversations with all of you probably as well, and then we then need to sort of take that forward and then see where we can slot that in. So yeah, again, all of these kinds of things are definitely possible, but you know, we're mainly restricted at the moment by sort of resources and priorities.
Sweet. We can probably wrap it up now. Yeah, we'll take all your other questions away and kind of get some answers for you guys as well. So don't feel neglected if you've just posted something now. We just want to keep it kind of short and sweet for everyone, and yeah, we'll send those out for you. And you can always rewatch this webinar. We'll save it onto our YouTube channel so you guys can watch it at any time and kind of go over any kind of points that you might have skimmed through or not, or kind of pay more attention to next time.
Cool. So yeah, thank you for joining everyone. And yeah, like Yasmin said, we'll share this out again on forum, and when we launch the feature, you'll be able to sort of come back onto this to see, you know, maybe the questions that you asked, and you don't need to be taking notes or anything to get the answers to those. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Have a happy week. Have a happy Monday. And yeah, feel free to reach out, obviously, if, you know, we are here to support you at the end of the day. So, you know, if you a lot of stuff about profile changes, a lot of stuff about bookings. If you want any further support, feel free to contact us. CS is now open from 6 till 10 every day. So we are back to our usual sort of functioning working hours. So you should be able to get a hold of us quite easily.
Awesome.
Cool.
Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.